Oh, and actually, this website, it's the Sportster. They have another article here from last year. 5 AEW stars Jim Cornette hates, and 5 he actually likes.
Well, let's see if anything's changed if that was from last year.
Number 10, Jim Cornette likes MJF. Number 9, Jim Cornette hates Kenny Omega.
That hadn't changed.
Number 8, Jim Cornette likes Jungle Boy.
Well, yeah, I hate that he hangs out with such a bad crowd.
Number 7, Jim Cornette hates Marco Stunt.
I believe it. I articulated that here recently very well.
Number 6, Jim Cornette likes Cody. Oh, wow. That's an interesting reaction.
It just said what I've seen over this was a year ago, right? What I've seen over the last year, I'm wondering whether he's lost the plot too. You're starting to move me into your camp, Brian.
Number 5, Jim Cornette hates Matt Jackson.
Woo! Is water wet this time of year, and does the Pope cover up for pedophiles? Of course.
Number 4, Jim Cornette likes Britt Baker.
Well, boy, talk about, she may have plummeted the most in the horse race that has been this, although the horse keeps running backwards because we see its ass first, but that has been this journey through hysteria of AEW. I started out saying, why are they not making this girl the champion? She's a baby face. She's attractive. She's a professional. She's a dentist. She can do media. She can have all the little girls out there, the little Bakerettes, looking up to her. Why not make her a babyface and put her over when they were beating her constantly? She was a babyface, but they were beating her constantly, blah, blah, blah. Then they switch her heel and she's rotten for a couple of weeks, but she gets that and she's doing, and I like that. And I'm like, well, she's got this promo and I like the Reba thing and the whole, and then they go to her office for the tooth and nail fight. And then Britt Baker ceased to exist because I have instituted since then the tooth and nail rule. So she went from the penthouse to the outhouse in the course of a year.
Number 3, Jim Cornette hates Riho.
Actually, no. That's the thing. Have I ever even said, even in a hyperbolic fashion or a hyperbaric fashion, that Riho should be boiled in oil and have her fat sold for soap?
Well, she doesn't have much fat, to be fair.
She don't have much. Then have I said that somebody should boil the skin off her bones and use them to pick their teeth?
I mean, you've been very critical of Riho. I don't remember anything to that degree, but...
Because I don't hate her. I just think that it's another example of Kenny Twinkletoes' bizarre Japanese anime fetishes polluting what could be a proper wrestling women's division without all of the Joshi Princess cosplay champions being involved.
Although, as I've said recently, the more of the Joshi Princess Pro personnel that we have seen, the more I appreciate Riho.
I can't get into a pro wrestler that throws punches while doilies are wrapped around her wrists.
That was one of the songs on the Drive-Thru. I think last week the guy said, she has doilies on her wrist. She wears a diaper. He said
Fuck.
All right, well, number 2 on the list, Jim Cornette likes Dax Harwood.
I still got to say I like him. I just feel sorry for him, and I hate that they got into that situation, I guess. But they brought a lot of it on themselves. Not having the power to say no early on led to never being able to say no later.
And number 1, Jim Cornette hates Jelly Nutella.
Well, there you go. But that's the first time he's ever been number 1.
Well, it's funny, too, reading this. Nutella seems like someone who does not belong on national television, but strictly on the independent scene. It has been months, but he has never managed to quite shake off that stigma from him. On the bright side, his presence did give Jim Cornette the opportunity to come up with the incredible Jelly Nutella nickname. So that's on
They
the
don't
bright
even like
side.
him. That's why I agree with everything except how did he get to be number one at anything? I don't even hate him worse than anyone else. It's just it's a repugnance, sort of like a really nasty smell that you walk by on the sidewalk. You're like, oh, jeez.
Who do you hate the most? I mean, he's number one on this list. Who do you actually hate the most in AEW? Is it Omega?
I think it has to be. Yeah, it has to be Harpo Fingerfuck. Just for the doll wrestling and the child wrestling and the breathy phone sex promos and the awkward my butt plug just fell out facials and the gesticulating and the finger pointing and the making a mockery of everything related to professional wrestling while at the same time claiming to be its world's greatest living practitioner and an artiste. This guy's so full of shit, as Mama Cornette would say, his eyes are brown. He's full of shit as Christmas turkey. A pompous ass fucking... I can't imagine a world in which he and I, even if we weren't involved in the wrestling business, would be able to pass a fucking friendly word between each other, because we are almost as far apart as disparate individuals as myself and Russo. Except Russo's voice still is more annoying, but there could be no two people different. And I mean that in every conceivable insulting way toward Twinkle Toes McFingerbang.
And who do you like the most in AEW?
Is none of the above a category?
Oh, come on. You do like some of the people there.
Well, like and disappointed in is, I guess, is better than hate and can't stand.
What about Darby Allin?
Well, I don't mind watching him wrestle, but I thought you were talking about like personally. The people there that I used to like personally, I'm disappointed in. But yeah, yes, they have talent. I like Darby Allin as a wrestler, and then we find out that he does shit like he does on these stunts on purpose and for free just because he thinks it's fun. So he's a fucking mental case. I mean, it's hard to give a full-throated endorsement to any of these people, because if you enjoy watching them on television, it's probably because they're really a fucking goof in person. I don't know what to think. And I hesitate, Brian, as you know, to give out the compliments, the accolades, and even the allocades, because every time I say something good about somebody, they pop up wrestling the Invisible Man. Remember, I was a fan of Mance Warner for about a month and a half in MLW. And then he wrestles the Invisible Man after I'd said all those good things about him. So I hesitate to go on record.
Well, Jim, some of these wrestlers may feel peer pressure to do some of these stupid things on video, disseminated to the world. Perhaps after the fact, they think about it and they go, what the hell was I thinking? And they say, I need to sue everybody.
And they sometimes say that. Or if, for example, you are a person out there who has a national television personality threatening to ejaculate all over you in your basement, or wishing and hoping and praying and wishing and hoping and praying and wanting that you die a horrible death, you need to call somebody, and I'll tell you exactly who you should fucking call.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. He'll sue the rest.
Folks, I'll tell you this, and I'll be quite honest with you. I know you wouldn't take it seriously if your life was threatened by a Bulgarian Popeye villain, a British gruel slobberer, or a woman who's been on more street corners than the New York Times. But if you have real problems that need real solutions in court, if you've been harmed or damaged, or your rights infringed on in any way, and you need to seek legal recourse, I suggest, indeed I urge you, to call the law offices of Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. The plethora of causes that Stephen has been involved in the last year, whether it be nursing home abuse of the elderly, whether it be chemicals causing cancer in Minden, West Virginia, whether it be the sexual assault of athletes there in West Virginia at the highest levels at the not only the athletes but the veterans, what I should say, at the Veterans Administration Hospital up there. Stephen's all over everything, and he can do the same thing for you. If he can't do it, he might can tell you where to go to have it done. So, folks, whether you want to retain Stephen P. New or just have him tell you where to go, 888-692-8084, newlawoffice.com. Get even with Stephen. New is for you, the consigliere of the cult of Cornette, the man who's kept me out of prison successfully so far. He can do the same thing for you.